Okay, let's solve the problem. I'm going to divide the screen in three parts. This is the without tax, or before the introduction of the tax. This is the tax on the seller, and this is the tax on the buyer. So before the tax, let P star be the equilibrium price. And what is very easy to see is that graphically, that particular case looks as follows. The supply of the sellers is just equal to CQE, because basically they want to sell every unit. They don't care about the good. And the demand is going to be something downward increasing like this. Oops. As a function of P related to the horizontal demand of the marginal benefit function. And we're going to have that P star is this, whatever that number is, it doesn't really matter for the problem, and X star is CQE. Now, let's see what happens when there is a tax imposed in the seller. Well, that's not good news for the seller, but the seller still wants to sell, so its supply at P has not changed. It's going to sell everything because it doesn't want to consume the good Q. The demand has not changed, so this is with the tax for the seller. The demand has also not changed because the tax is on the seller side, so this is going to be the demand without the subscript, without the tax at P. So since the demand and supply are not affected, this implies that P star, when the tax is on the seller, is just P star. And clearly, since the supply is vertical, X star, when the tax is on the seller, is also CQE. Now let's see what happens when the tax is on the buyer. Again, the sellers just want to sell everything. And the key question is what happens to the buyers? Well, the buyers are going to react. The tax is on the buyer, but the demand is on the buyer side, basically by trying to demand the same amount that they bought before, but at a higher price that incorporates the tax that they have to pay. We have seen this several times before, so it should be very familiar. But this implies that this equilibrium price clears the market with this quantity. So in all of these cases, this clears the market. Now, the case of the T buyer, I'm going to draw in red here. Basically, what happens is that the buyers react by shifting by tau their demand with the tax on the buyer, and that shifts the equilibrium price P star to P star minus tau. Okay. Now notice the following. What is going to be the consumer surplus of the sellers in this case? Well, it's going to be the amount of units that they sell, CQU, Q superscript E, times the price at which they sell it minus the tax that they have to pay. So this is when the tax is in the seller. What is the consumer surplus here? Is C times QE. In this case, they don't pay a tax, but the equilibrium price has gone down to P star minus tau. So these are the same, and the consumer surplus is the same. There is no difference. Notice the intuition, that economic intuition here that is nice, is that when the supply is unresponsive to prices, the sellers end up bearing the full tax. The prices adjust one-to-one to the introduction of the tax on the consumers, so that is shifted back to the sellers. There are many goods that have this property, by the way, as long as they are unresponsive. A typical example is art or land.